Hi, this is Jay Varma, and welcome to Thermometer. On this show, I check the temperature of public health in the US and around the world, and I give you expert insights on infectious diseases and public health. Gene Hackman was one of the greatest actors of his generation, a towering figure in Hollywood. One of my favorite roles, the conspiracy action thriller Enemy of the State with Will Smith. But this past month, headlines shocked the world. Gene Hackman and his wife were both found dead. The official cause? Heart disease and complications of Alzheimer's disease for Gene Hackman, and a rare infectious disease called hantavirus for his wife. But I want to ask you all a deeper question. Could an infection have played a role in Hackman's death too? And could infections, ones that you or I have had, be silently shaping the future of our brain? This story isn't just about a Hollywood legend. It's about something that should concern every single one of us. Stay with me. Let's start with the facts. Gene Hackman had Alzheimer's disease, a progressive, incurable condition that erodes memory, thinking, and independence. As with many people in the late stages of dementia, he was out of the public eye, receiving full-time care at home. On February 26th, Hackman and his wife were found dead. The investigation revealed something unexpected. His wife had died 2 weeks earlier from a disease most people have never even heard of, called hantavirus. So what is hantavirus? Hantavirus is a virus that, like Ebola, can cause leaky blood vessels, organ failure, and death. It's what we call a viral hemorrhagic fever. But unlike the Ebola virus that many of you have heard of, you don't get it from people, you get it from the environment, specifically from rodents. So the official report says that after his wife's death, Hackman died of heart disease. And sure, that sounds like a logical conclusion, but I've spent my career studying how infections impact the body and the brain. And I have to ask, was Gene Hackman's death just from heart disease, or was there something deeper going on? Could an infection, one from years ago, have contributed to his death? So here's what most people don't realize. Alzheimer's isn't just about aging. Increasingly, scientists are discovering that infections might play a major role in its development. The theory is that viruses and bacteria trigger inflammation in the brain, leading to damage that accumulates over decades. Consider this: the herpes virus, the same one that causes cold sores that so many people have, has been found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Sometimes some scientists believe that when this virus reactivates later in life, it sparks an immune response that damages neurons. And the same goes for the bacteria from gum disease, which has been linked to brain inflammation and Alzheimer's progression. That's right. Infections that you have in your mouth, like herpes or an infection of your gums, can actually be part of the pathway to get Alzheimer's disease. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. Researchers have found that people with a specific genetic variant called ApoE4 are more susceptible to infections like herpes. And that same genetic variant is one of the strongest risk factors for Alzheimer's. So now you might be thinking, okay, but does that really mean infections cause Alzheimer's disease? Well, let's look at the data. In one study involving hundreds of thousands of people in Finland and the United Kingdom, scientists found that severe infections requiring hospitalization significantly increased the risk of developing dementia later in life. And in another study from Denmark, researchers followed 1.4 million people over 40 years, and they found a clear pattern. The more infections you have in your lifetime, the higher your risk of developing dementia. Why? The leading theory is that repeated infections trigger an inflammatory cascade that crosses the blood-brain barrier, leading to long-term damage. So now, let's bring this back to Gene Hackman and to all of us. Did an infection in Gene Hackman's past accelerate his Alzheimer's? We'll never know for sure, but the science strongly suggests that infections, Even ones that we recover from, and even ones that we think are very mild, leave a potentially damaging footprint in our brains. So what does that mean for you? What can you do to protect your brain? First, if you're over 50, there's a compelling case for getting vaccinated against infections that may contribute to dementia. Infections like shingles. We know that the shingles virus, reactivates in the brain and may increase the Alzheimer's risk. And we know that vaccines can prevent that. Second, don't ignore infections, whether it's the flu, pneumonia, or a severe infection in your mouth, gum disease. Getting treated early may be a form of long-term brain protection. And third, let's all push for more research in this area. Alzheimer's remains one of the biggest mysteries in medicine and one of the most debilitating and devastating conditions that people die from. And one thing is becoming clear. The story of dementia isn't just about aging. It's about the invisible battles that our immune systems had fought over a lifetime. So as we remember Gene Hackman's legacy, let's also take this as a moment to rethink how we approach infections, immunity, and brain health. Because the past, our past, may be shaping our future in ways we're only beginning to understand. So if you found this insightful, please hit subscribe. I cover the biggest stories in infectious diseases and public health, giving you the facts. Let's stay informed, let's stay curious, and most important, let's work to stay healthy.